Hey guys, I just wanted to share something pretty cool that I came up with. I like it a lot, I'm pretty proud of it. It is a procedurally generated spiral where you can define the start position and the end position and move it around, and the spiral will change accordingly to solve that solution. You can create any number of spirals that you want, and this is just the number of times that you loop around before you go from start position to end position. So this is like 3 loops, 4 loops, and so on. And you can also move this object around like so, and you can create all sorts of interesting shapes using spirals, and there's lots of interesting applications. So this one could be something like a tornado. So what we end up having is a series of points on a spline, and this is kind of like a roller coaster track, so to speak. And you can take any object and you can move it along on this track, and that creates a pretty interesting visual effect. And there's quite a few different interesting applications for this. So the 3 applications that I'm going to be using is, one, to move a particle around the player in VR so that I can attract their attention to a point of interest. Number 2, I can create something that would create tracks for a tornado. So if a tornado is sucking objects into it, I can have those objects rotating around the funnel of the tornado, and I can have the tornado whipping around dynamically, and the spline tracks would adjust accordingly. And 3, I have a skeleton which is initially disassembled, just a whole bunch of bones laying down on the ground, and all those bones would have to assemble into a skeleton, which is a complete character. And those bones don't just pop into place, they have to move through time and space. So I have them swirling around in a spiral while there's a whole bunch of magical effects happening, and in the end those loose bones all assemble into a skeleton, and the visual effect is pretty sweet. Just as a really quick demo of how this works, I'll create a particle effect that follows this track. It'll go pretty quick, so I need to show this. Here we go. And it reaches the end point, and it stops because there's nowhere else for it to go. But once you have a spline, it's not too hard to concatenate other splines to an existing spline so that you can create compounded tracks of various types. So you can have spirals and loops and all sorts of other interesting things. Anyway, I was really happy with how this turned out, and I thought I would share this, and hope you guys are inspired. Cheers.